Howdy folks, I've been doing a lot of repairs lately. Last couple of weeks we had some different machines in here. Some of them were quite large and I had to troubleshoot and repair them, and I got through all of them except this one here. And I got thinking about this, you know, I should probably share a little bit with you guys on some of this stuff, because there are certain things on any device, regardless of what it is, that some steps you can take in troubleshooting things. And obviously the very first thing is to, you know, prove you have power, but after that it gets kind of crazy. And this one here has, let's see if I can pull a plug out of here. This one has a fuse in it that a lot of people don't realize, that there is a little tiny fuse in there. So let's take a look at that fuse thing first to prove power supply, and then we're going to take a look at the machine overall. I'll tell you what the readings were, and I'll tell you what what destroyed this unit. Regardless of machine, not even plugged in, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to zoom down here, and I want you guys to have a good quick look at this. Well, there are people that don't realize that this thing is here. There's a little tiny fuse built into this right here, and that's what we're going to look at right now. Yeah, so a lot of times you can just get a screwdriver or something and you can get this thing pulled out, and it's like a drawer, you know, and it just kind of slides out, and it's right under here. And I broke a fingernail really badly just now. And there it is. And there's even, in this case, this particular unit has a spare fuse. You can test this with an ohm meter, if you have one for resistance, something like that, through here to make sure that the fuse is good, which it is. I'll put it back in. Whoop. And of course, if you look at here, you can actually see there's the other, you know, spare fuse that is included with this unit. But a lot of times when you look at these plugs, you don't realize, all you realize is that, you know, you put this in here, but a lot of people don't realize there's a fuse right there. Now, unfortunately, this unit here, when you plug it in, turn the power on, and turn this on, this lights up, which indicates the power is inside the machine at that point. So we're going to continue our troubleshooting from the inside. Okay, so I've got the unit on. Well, I've got it plugged in right now with power. And as I'll show you here, see this light right here, it comes on. And at this point, if you don't want to go any further, I understand, because I'm a professional and I've done this for years. But, you know, if you're not comfortable about going inside the machine to look what's going on, I understand. The first thing I'm going to do is, of course, shut the machine off and unplug it again. The problem is inside, like this is a medical machine in this case here, but it could be a 3D printer, it could be anything. The control board has capacitors, it's going to hold a lot of stuff. The other problem you're going to have, this one here was really simple, stupid, but there's going to be screws that hold the chassis or whatever together, and again, you're going to have to locate those. Sometimes you have to go underneath the machine and remove certain screws. In this case, we did not have to. Even underneath the feet, sometimes there's, you know, screws that hold the assembly. That is all part of that, I guess we'll call it, you're going to have to be a really good investigator to figure out what's holding the machine together at that point in order to get it apart. And I'll just show you this. It's got a couple of control boards and whatever, and some capacitors and stuff. So it's kind of dangerous in there because there could still be live circuits in there. And we've got a ribbon cable. Everything in here is what we call, it has got silicone patched over to hold any vibration or any problems together. So the very next thing that I do is I go after the power supply on the inside to make sure that the power supply to the component, in this case, is working. And if I trace the wiring out, you can actually see they've come in with the plug here, and they've kind of jumpered it a little bit, but they've come off with a neutral over here to this board. And they've also took the neutral and the hot over here to this end on these two wires, and they've gone to a power supply unit. So here's your power supply right here. Obviously, this is, you know, the next area, whatever you want to check. And what I did was I took a voltage reading off of here to indicate there's 110 volts. Like, yeah, okay, we have 110 volts on the meter. We're good to go. I'm going to bring something up later on about that anyways. But in the meantime, the next thing I did was I ran off the neutral here and took power readings across here from the power supply coming in here. And the voltage was fairly high, but the whole aspect of this is the machine doesn't work. There's a little, you can hear like a little click right there. And when you turn it on, this should light up, and then you should be able to function and pick out the time and the amount of frequency and stuff you're using with this. This is a some sort of it's a sonic vibrator thing anyways for medical purposes. But Thing is, it doesn't turn on. Nothing is happening, and yet there's voltage all over the place in here. In fact, I even measured voltage up to the other circuit board, which I'll just show you right up in here. And all of a sudden, you know, ta-da, see this? Yeah, this little chip right here, that's a big fatty old chip. And the problem I've ran into immediately using a very small voltmeter is I went to these legs on each of these components here across the entire chip, and there was 60 volts across everything on that chip was measured 60 volt, which means, yeah, somebody play, you know, bump, bump, bump. It's basically, this thing has been hit by probably lightning strike, and it's been surged, and it's gone right through and just totally, you know, everything's toast in here. So at this point, there are no replaceable parts to the component. So unfortunately, this is where we stop and we call it a dead end on this one, because, you know, we can't go any further. The chip probably needs to be replaced, but there could be other damage in the board itself. I did take voltage readings across the switches to make sure the switches do turn on, turn off kind of thing. And they do. Everything is operational. It's just simply there's the same voltage across every part of the board. And generally, I find in the past, from years of experience, is if you run into something like that, what it is you've had a lightning strike and it has burned and just fried everything right through. Some of the things you could look for, if you didn't have the reading of high voltages all over the board like I did, you could take a magnifying glass and even look through here and look for heat marks, you know, little black explosions, little miniature tiny, you know, explosions, that kind of thing. A lot of times that's what you'll find, and sometimes it's just a, you know, maybe a bad SCR like we have over here, or a loose capacitor or some bad solder work, something like that. Also, when I was testing these switches, I also made sure that these connections were good all the way through the system, because again, something like that could shake loose over time, you know, get banged around or something, and all of a sudden you lose the connection, and that could cause failure with the electronic board or something like that. So there's a lot of, you know, simple, sort of straightforward things you can look for. Especially, like I said, I tested these switches that are in the front here to turn on and turn off the machine. And when none of that worked, it was kind of like, yeah, we're getting down to the where it's like, this is just a piece of junk and it's going to have to go in the trash can because she, you know, her days are over. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's really sad, because if you could get components like this board. Oh, and I made a mistake. Let me clarify something. I mentioned this as being neutral something. It's not. It's the ground, which is kind of like the neutral anyways. But this is a ground connection to this board right here. And off of this ground is where I took my measurements for voltage across the board. And that way I could see if there was 5 volt, 9 volt, something like that. It was all like high 60 volts all the way across through everything. So it's like I said, it's basically lightning. So it's like, you know what? There's nothing we can do. She's gone to the was it the big electronic place in the sky? She's gone bye-bye. So, yeah. Now, in the past, sometimes when I was a kid especially, I used to love tearing this stuff apart and put all this stuff aside, because sometimes you could come back and use some of the, reuse the components, the boards, maybe not the ribbon cables, but a lot of times there's lots of usable parts in here that aren't destroyed. But in this situation, and again, because it appears to me that it was a lightning strike that went through, and this was in a commercial area in Texas that they were using this, so obviously, you know, with the damage, it's like, no, you know what, these components may be destroyed, could be separated and tested or something, but it just, unfortunately, in this day and age, you know, it's just not worth the time, unfortunately. Like I said, that part's kind of sad. But this is a situation with this particular unit. Now, the other units had other problems. Most of them were power supply right here, blown fuses, and, you know, really small, stupid things that had happened. One of them was really sad. I'll just show it to you. There's nothing here, of course, but there was a big cooling fan underneath one of the units. It's a different kind of a method or unit for what it was doing for therapy, but it was, again, the big cooling fan had totally jammed up with dust and collected a bunch of garbage in there, and the fan couldn't run anymore, so the boards, the transformers, everything was getting hot in there. So once I cleaned the fan and took an air line and blew everything out and then changed the fuse, the machine works great again. So I re-delivered the machine to them and just explained to them that, you know, that under here needs to be cleaned every once in a while. Otherwise, you get an accumulation of dust and dirt buildup enough to the point where, yeah, you know, Yeah, isn't that something? Anyways, this puppy is going to be just going, like I said, just go bye-byes because there's really nothing more I can do with it. It's toast. Yeah. But I thought for troubleshooting the power supply, a lot of times that's all it is right here at the power supply is where your problem is, and that's why I kind of wanted to show you this today. I didn't want you to get into the electronic boards or something and try to troubleshoot because I don't have a schematic. I have virtually no information. I'm not even sure exactly the use of this particular machine or some of the other ones that came in the last few weeks, but in this case here, I thought, well, you know, we'll check over all the basics, the switches and whatever, the power supplies, that sort of thing. If nothing is, you know, if nothing seems to be wrong, we'll continue investigating until we hit something. But unfortunately, with, like I say, with the measurement and the volt, well, yeah, it's, you know, game over. Yeah. So she will be going, unfortunately, I guess she'll become part of a landfill or something. I really don't know what else to do with it. It's kind of a cool piece of equipment, but there's really nothing I can do with it. These are kind of like guitar jacks. They're kind of cool looking. I'm not sure what size they are. Probably might be guitar jacks. I don't know. They're modern looking compared to the ones I grew up with as a kid. And anyway, that's the end of that one. So, yep. The other thing I want to talk about real quick was when I'm doing my testing, somebody had noticed something here, and I'm gonna unplug here for a second. I just want to show you this. Okay, let's just go get this out of the way. Boy, it comes to moving and trying to keep the place cleaned up. Throw those over there for the moment. Oh, look at all the money. I wish it was real money. Yeah, anyway, somebody said something about the power supply, so I'll put the meter on for AC voltage. And I'm going to stick this in the power supply unit here. I mentioned 110, and somebody corrected me and says, "Oh no, man, that's 120." You know, we do have higher voltages these days, and I'm like, you know, he's right, but there's the voltage I'm reading right now off my power supply, okay, that I'm using for testing generally, and that's what I was using the day I showed you this. Yeah, it's 110 volt. Yeah. Now, if I go to my outlets here at the house, I can probably get as high as about, I'll bet you I can get as high as 124 because they have increased the voltage over quite a long time ago. They jumped on the transformers for the mains coming off of, like, you know, generators and stuff. We used to use, I think it was 13,000. Or no, I think it was 7,500, something like that. Anyways, they went to 13,000 transformers. They've gone up from that, I think now 27,000 or something. They've gone to higher voltages because high voltage, you know, travels pretty good down the Rhine. In fact, it travels better than low voltage. Haha. And so, yeah, it's, you know, it is 120 and 240 these days, but I've got power supplies here, and a lot of them are 110 and 220. So, you know, there you go. Anyways, I just thought I'd show you that because an expert viewer told me, "You're wrong. It's 120 you got there." And I was like, "No, it isn't. It's 110. Yeah. The very first thing, anytime you have any machine, piece of equipment, whatever, and it has one of these, you know, type of plugs, and there's two styles on these things. There's this one here that has like the vertical slots in it. There's also one with the horizontal slots in it. Basically same function, but always check to make sure you got power at this end that you're plugging into the machine, of course. And look for that little secret fuse that's in the assembly. A lot of times they are on there, and it's kind of hard to, you know, see them in the machine, but they're there. If the power light comes on, then you'd better have the, yeah, you need a professional to take it apart at that point. And God knows, I don't know, it's like the shoemaker thing. There's just no service out there anymore for this sort of thing. It's nice if you can do it yourself, but electricity is very dangerous, yes. And capacitors, like I said, will hold energy. And a lot of times those electric boards in there can still have enough to even give you a good shock or give you a good bang. So, you know, those are just basic things that I generally do whenever a machine comes in. And I've had, the only reason I'm doing the show like this today is because I've had like a dozen of these different machines coming in, and people asking, you know, can you check this for me and just, you know, see what's wrong. And we had nothing but success until we hit that one, yeah. And that IC that's in there, or computer chip, you know, every leg with the same voltage is like, no, you know, it shouldn't be doing that. And if it is doing that, then that means the chances are that chip is probably totally blown right out of its little mind, and it is, you know, passing electric to every one of the legs, which it shouldn't be doing. And it actually, on those legs, usually you're looking for like 5 volts or something. You're not looking for 60 volts. It was like, whoa, you know, it's like, yeah, that's, everything's going through. While I was doing the show just now, I got bit by a hornet, or stung, I'm not sure which, but yeah, I was outside and leaned up against the door for a second and suddenly realized there was something there that wasn't supposed to be. And so, yeah, so great day. Yeah, anyways, hey, thanks for checking in on us. We are moving at some point in time. I don't know when. Right now, the place is for sale. There's no bites. The market is dead slow where we are right now. In fact, just dead would be a good description of it, I would say. So hopefully maybe we'll get somebody that wants to buy a custom home at some point. In the meantime, thanks for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notice bell. I'm out of here. Over and out.